Himawari just met her new tail beast, and it's a baby kyuubi. This little creature has terrified the most powerful cyborg of the verse, so it might be the key to defeating the Shinjus. There are many mysteries surrounding how this being came into existence, along with his massive role in the story. On top of that, there is even a possibility for Himawari to get into the Baryon mode without any fear of death, and by the end of this video, you will find out exactly how. Reincarnation, rebirth and resurrection. All these words are tied to the concept of bringing a dead entity back to life. The Naruto verse has prominently explored this concept in Shippuden when the reincarnation cycle of Ashura and Indra was introduced. It was perpetuated by the unresolved conflict between the sons of Hagoromo as their descendants inherited their chakra and continued their struggle across different eras. The conflict between Ashura and Indra came to an end when Naruto and Sasuke reconciled during the 4th Great Ninja War. Their final battle symbolized the resolution of the centuries-old feud, marking the end of the cycle of reincarnation. The theme of rebirth and destiny, which was portrayed in Naruto Shippuden, has been inspired from some Eastern mythologies. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the concept of reincarnation is closely tied to unfulfilled resolves or desires. This connection is often linked to the idea of karma, the law of cause and effect. But the rebirth of a tail beast doesn't seem to come under the same notion, which promoted the reincarnation of Hagoromo's sons. The tail beasts were said to be immortal since they were made of chakra. Even if their Jinchuriki died, they would have respawned with their remnant chakra after some time. Now the twist in Kurama's case was that he had died due to the Baryon mode, which apparently depleted his life force, causing him to die a permanent death. But the point here is that this was the first time he had ever used Baryon mode, and no Biju had went this far before, which means the aftermath of this transformation was still uncertain. It seems like after the depletion of his entire life force, the remaining chakra of the Nine Tails, which resided within Himawari, started to take the form of the Nine-tailed beast. He initially had 2 vessels who were suitable to become Jinchuriki, but since Momoshiki took away the inheritance of Boruto by overwriting his DNA, he lost his chances to possess the new kyuubi. This left us with Himawari, who was the only person with a portion of Nine-tails chakra that she inherited from a Jinchuriki. Now when it comes to whether this tail beast is Kurama or not, I believe this rebirth narrative of the Nine-tails is synonymous to the tale of Amado's daughter. She was seemingly revived a lot of times, but no revival could retain her memories and personality from the past life. Both Akebi and Kurama share the themes of coming back to life, but not being who they were previously. A similar theme can be seen in the case of the Shinju trio. They are made from victimizing human beings, but have no clue about their past life. So the new kyuubi following a similar path is very likely to come true. The anime already teased Himawari getting a Nine Tails in Boruto episode 93. She went with Naruto to get a new toy called Kurama. Himawari then demonstrates the toy's functionality and Naruto compares it to a baby. One thing that not many of you have noticed is the return of the Nine-tailed fox, exactly taking place on the 9th chapter of Two Blue Vortex. I think this was done deliberately by Kishimoto, cause back in April of 2022, he released chapter 69, which was all about love, lust and captives. It released on 20th April and was definitely not a coincidence. A question that everyone is asking is the reason behind Daemon being intimidated of this mini creature. While it makes sense for his reaction to originate from finding a power ball of chakra casually roaming around the village, it can have some other interesting interpretations as well. Before we go there, please subscribe to the channel for your daily dose of Boruto content. As I said earlier, after the death of their Jinchuriki, the chakra of the Biju takes some time to regenerate. This means the rebirth of kyuubi must have some regeneration period as well, and was the moment when Daemon sensed the chakra of Himawari when this creature was born. If you pay attention, he says that what was the intensity that I sensed from her just now. This means the chakra of Himawari doesn't remain the same, and when Daemon felt the intensity, it was perhaps the kyuubi reforming itself inside her body. I think the birth of a Biju releases a lot of intensity, so much that someone with godly DNA can easily feel it. The chakra level inside Himawari must have shortly returned to normal once the Biju was born, which makes this new Nine Tails 3 years old right now. This means if Daemon comes in contact with Himawari again, he will not feel the same same energy that he felt in chapter 77. By this we can conclude the creation of 10 tails is something that can even intimidate the gods of Narutoverse. This brings an interesting aspect to the plot of Shinjus, since they are the opposing forces of Otsutsuki's and could attack on their whole clan after evolving themselves. The case of Himawari and Daemon has built the baseline for the staggering conflict between the Otsutsukis and the Shinjus. These creatures acted as a powerhouse to the celestial beings, and without them, the Otsutsukis would have never been able to evolve themselves. It will be interesting to see how this new kyuubi helps Himawari against the Ten Tails threat. He seems to be hiding himself all this time since he was surprised that Jura found him. So was it some special moment that he was waiting for when he would have revealed himself to Himawari, or did he know some Ten Tails have awakened in another dimension that he shall be dealing with? Firstly, now that he's talking to Himawari, he will definitely give her a special power up that had already been foreshadowed years ago. While this art portrayed Boruto with kyuubi mode and dual Byakugan, this idea seems to have been transferred to Himawari for obvious reasons. She will be a key element to fight off the new threats instead of sacrificing her life to save everyone else. This new power up will accelerate her Hyuga prowess with the power of the Nine Tails, a combination of Hyuga and kyuubi chakra. Think of it as a fusion between Naruto and Hinata. She will certainly be really broken to deal with and could make the Shinjus leave Konoha. But as we know, she is still a child, so her new power up could have some sort of time limit before she falls unconscious. It will be cool to see her team up with Boruto to fight the new Ten Tails monsters. After all, she is the second most important character in the story. That's why the show's title is Two Blue Vortex. Now let's talk about why this kyuubi didn't reincarnate somewhere in the wild. Does the process of Himawari becoming the Jinchuriki contradicts the original story of Kishimoto? Well, it was expected for Kurama to reincarnate since the plot point of their immortality has been well established. The only problem is his rebirth within Himawari. The same kyuubi could have formed somewhere in the wild, so what logic applies to making Hima the vessel? It could be that the Biju power that she inherits from Naruto acted as a safe spot for the Nine Tails to reincarnate. Maybe a normal reincarnation would have taken years, but since Kurama was comfortable with the Uzumaki people, he chose the most reliable person as the next Jinchuriki. Now talking about the possibility of him retaining his memories from the past life, keeping the Akebi analogy aside, there is some merit to the theory of Kurama coming back to save the children of Naruto and the next generation. Momoshiki had clarified the inability of Kurama to transfer his powers to the next generation, but it seems like he has yet again turned out to be incorrect. If we look closely at his words, he wanted to emphasize on the fact that there is no medium for Kurama to pass down his powers, which doesn't necessarily mean that he predicted his death. The reason I think so is because after the Ishiki fight, Momoshiki was surprised that Naruto and gang defeated Ishiki. This means the fragments of future that he foresaw included the fight of Ishiki and Naruto, and this prediction that he made about the fox was a reference to Naruto and not Kurama. I think he believed the 7th would die against Ishiki. That's why he was surprised upon the Otsutsuki's defeat. But just because Kurama died due to the Baryon mode, it made people think he was talking about the Biju. But since it's not actually the case, and Kurama's reincarnation wasn't an impossible thing to begin with, things are now making sense. Naruto did not pass down his mighty power, but Kurama himself chose the next vessel. And as we know, for the sake of choosing the vessel himself, he needs to have memories from the past life. Furthermore, he questions Himawari if she knows him, and this question would only make sense if Himawari had some prior knowledge of the kyuubi. If he was a completely new being who had no knowledge of his reincarnation, chances are he wouldn't have asked this question. These hints indicate the baby Nine Tails being Kurama and not a completely new Biju. The reason everyone calls him kyuubi could be a deliberate attempt of the author to create confusion. This suspense will definitely add fuel to the hype of the next chapter, where the true identity of this Biju shall be unveiled. This brings us to another possibility of why Daemon was so shocked of baby Kyuubi, which again indicates that it's indeed Kurama. So this Biju knew about the Shinju somehow, and he also asked Himawari to recognize him. But one thing that no one is talking about is the fact that he released his intensity and Naruto was sealed off by Kawaki. So what does this mean? I think there are two possibilities that explain the connection between his first glimpse and the Naruto incident. Firstly, he must have been trying to know what happened to Naruto since his chakra mysteriously disappeared, disappeared. That's why he must have released his intensity to search for his older master. This makes a lot of sense and proves that it's indeed Kurama who still cares for Naruto. But the second possibility says something opposite. What if this kyuubi somehow knew that if Himawari reaches her home at time, she will also get sealed by Kawaki. So in order to save her from getting sealed, what the kyuubi did was to release some high intensity to attract Daemon, who stopped Himawari midway and prevented her from returning home. The only catch in this theory would be that how this kyuubi knew about Daemon and his massive powers. It would literally make him an omnipresent type of being, but that's apparently not the case here, even though it would explain how he already knew about Jura. I think his interaction with the outside world is basically based on emotions, feelings and chakra. The reason only Daemon was attracted from his release of intensity means that he could feel the type of person he is, so he released a certain type of intensity to attract him. But this puts a question mark to how he was certain Jura won't be able to trace him, that he still did. Well, the initial theory gives a better explanation on this. Since he could feel the chakra of Naruto disappearing, he must be able to feel the chakra of his own kind too. But the more we think about it, the more mysterious all of this becomes. So let me know in the comments what you think about the new kyuubi's knowledge on Shinju. Also check out these videos for more amazing stuff. I will see you next time.